Tigrayans crossing into the Sudan. That's the closest border. 70,000. Out of 70,000 refugees, we could have 3,000 children out of school for 3 years. No school at all. Because of lack of food, lack of medicine, lack of teaching materials. So what we are trying to do is those migrants, wherever we are, maybe in Europe, across Europe, or in the United States, or Canada, or Australia, who is in those places, is in a position to help those people in Sudan. So we have started this scheme, school meal scheme. That's meal. They don't get a meal at all. If we provide 1 meal, it's a great job. We are teaming up with Tigray Youth Network, based in London. The two of us are fundraising. In July, everybody is welcome now. July 15th, we will have a fundraising event and a certificate award ceremony for the third round. Third round, members and mentees will provide them certificates for their achievements. So please come on regions, regional armies, Amhara, Afar, and so on, with the support of drones from Turkey, from Arab Emirates, from China, Russia, and so on. I don't know why is that. What happened? What did they do? They do to deserve all this? They are law-abiding citizens, God-fearing citizens, and so on.
This is what exactly happening now in Sudan.
Yeah, 1 million has perished. 1 million. It's not easy. It's not a joke. Read the social media and read the report of Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. Have got their own report. If you go to their report, you will see it.
What resources do you have in Tigray?
We have everything. Why was the war? You can ask.
Yeah, I was thinking the only thing people go to war, outsiders go to somewhere because there is resources they can take. That's the only thing they can think about. Otherwise, if there isn't resources, they won't bother.
Excellent point.
That's what I think.
There should be some reason to attack this small region. There should be some resource, something to be taken away. For example, the history of Ethiopia is all here. The civilization, the Ethiopian civilization, we call it Aksumite civilization, like the Chinese, the Persian, the Indian civilization, ancient civilization, is here. The first Muslim mosque in Africa is integrated.
Okay.
There is gold. The tourist, it's called an open air museum because of historical heritage, because of the land beauty, and so on. Just immediately to the south, the Amhara region wants to wipe out the whole Tigray. That's the reason. They want to wipe out the people and claim this is ours. Yeah, the Aksum civilization is ours. The Al-Najashi mosque is ours. That mountain is ours. All that. They are still claiming. So they have to do this by wiping out the whole population and settle. And they are settling their people there. That's the reason. But why do the West and the East also collaborate with this?
Of course.
They have got their own. Imagine the drones. Who made them? Signed, yeah.
Sorry, I've got to go, but I want to share something quickly with everybody. If you are Muslim, do anybody know about National Zakat Foundation? Anybody knows about National Zakat Foundation?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, if you are a refugee and you are in this country, National Zakat Foundation is only for Muslim. For example, if you are on the verge of being homeless, You can make the application. You'll find yourself a place. They'll pay 1 month deposit and 1 month rent. If you are moving to a new property, yeah, say by the council or even by private, and you don't have the money to buy beds or kids' clothing or whatever, you can make an application hardship as well for National Zakat Foundation. Okay, I'm trying to share that with every single Muslim I meet, because there is waiting list sometime, but it's okay. But you can get support. There is also certain amount for education. If you were to study something, there is a limit of money, they can do it. If you have debts, yes, and you have gone through the issues about charities that can help and not, yes, the National Zakat Foundation can pay for the debts. So if you go on the
Online?
National, yeah. If you can send the
link, yeah.
The link, you can see all the support. And I think anybody, like I've shared that with you, Najla knows,
Yes.
share it with others.
Yes.
Because there are many in need, and they don't know all these resources. So thank you very much. I'm going.
Thank you. We have
Thank
got,
you very much.
members from the refugee communities
Yes.
who are Muslims.
Yes.
They are eligible for that.
All
Yeah, of
Muslim,
course.
any
Only
Muslim,
Muslim.
the only zakat help support only Muslim.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I will send you the link,
Yes,
Dr. Haibul.
and
Okay.
anybody,
Okay,
honestly, you can ask, check out as well for asylum.
only Muslim.
Because
Only Muslim.
before they used to, I supported asylum, they given them like £160.
Do you have a card to share with us? You have?
No, I don't have card, but I can email you. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much. So I will not keep you for long. I will be quick,
Thank you.
very quick. GAP has got two meanings as well, like three, like with GAP is a gap between the parent and the child. In here, children speak English, parents speak mother tongue. So between the parent and the child, there is a big gap. There is a communication breakdown. Communication, the intergenerational communication. We want to close that gap by teaching children their own alphabet. We have an alphabet called His. It's like self-sufficient. We have plenty of land, plenty of water. We have to grow food. So the Adigra City Farm is growing food for orphans. Orphaned by HIV, by war now. Those orphans need to keep going, to go to school back home in Tigray. When there is peace, they need to go to school. In order to do that, you have to have some farm to keep them going. And the aim of this farm is to empower HIV, AIDS, orphaned children and their carers, economically, socially, and psychologically. To promote healthy eating. We used to have healthy eating in Najla's event. We always learn healthy eating. We do the same. If you grow plants, vegetables, you feed the community those type of food, and we teach them or promote healthy eating. Third important point is maintaining the ecosystem of the town, the Adigra town. We turn it into a green space. What was derelict in the past is becoming green. I will show you some pictures. So that is the aim of the city farm. Now we want to develop that center, the agricultural site. There are lots of buildings inside, so we want to open shops, we want to open cafes, so the children could enjoy that. We sell through open windows, open window shops. What we produce there, we sell it to the community. That's the process. The process is here. For example, we have the grain growing, we have the cattle, we have everything. But we have to do it. We have to make it processed. We have to have milk. We have to have some shiro or tahni, we call it locally.
Yes.
You know, powders, ready to eat, and so on. So the shops are very important to sell all those items. But at the end of the day, we also open a cafe. In order to open a cafe, you have to have a full facility there. The kitchen, toilets, the stores have to be built. We are fundraising for that now, currently. Now this is the story of myself and Najla. Briefly, we are coming towards the end.
Yes.
Najla and myself are holding a trophy of Najla. Najla have been awarded by the Jewish Voluntary Network.
Yeah.
How many months ago?
In January, I think.
January.
Yeah.
Around January. Why is that? Because Najla have been with WIT for the last 20 years.
Oh.
For the last
Thank you very much.
She is our trustee now. She is the secretary of WIT Trust. She can tell a brief history about herself. And that's it.
Then award.
MashaAllah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are questions, I can ask.
Yes.
Questions? Yes, sir.
I don't know. I never heard about the war in Eritrea. Although I'm not ignorant. I read, I check information, but I never. Why they don't talk about it in the? Well, I don't have satellite. I just listen to BBC. But why they don't talk about it in BBC?
They don't want to talk about it.
You see, because I don't have satellite. I don't have TV. Special.
You know, let me tell you a story, little story. We had been demonstrating in the streets. What I asked was, are you aware of the Ukraine war? Oh yes, very sad, very sad, very sad. It's the same question. Are you aware of the Tigray genocide?
No.
What is it?
What is
What
that?
is it? No.
Where is
The
it?
press is not doing its job.
That's the whole difference. It's done in a dark. BBC is not reporting it, Guardian is not reporting it. We don't know the reason why. It's not reported. That's why you don't hear about it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hailo.
Thank you.
There is teas, coffees, and biscuits. Please help yourself.
Yeah, later on,
And we
after
can
coffee,
listen
shall
to
we-
migrants' rights network. Yes. So Katia and Anes will help us with that. Thank you very much.
down and deliver specific workshop on that specific topic. So yeah, we circulate that at the end. But first of all, welcome. Thank you for having us today. We're really happy to be here. Ernest and myself are from Migrant Rights Network. And I'm gonna let Ernest introduce himself first.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ernest, and I am the ambassador for Migrant Rights Network. I joined the team not so long ago as a policy volunteer. Basically, why I expressed my interest to join the team was becoming inspired by my personal journey and also a deep-seated desire to see change in the UK legal landscape. So, you know, how it's very hostile and very unwelcoming for people. So I wanted to be part of that change. Briefly, as an ambassador at the AMRN, my work is really much into engaging in advocacy efforts that helps to raise awareness for migrant rights issues, as well as I work in policy research and development, and also community outreach and engagement, just as I'm doing right now. So I'm glad to be here with you all, and we get to interact more as we go through the presentation. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much.
So I'm Katia Didlaka. I used to be the community project coordinator for Migrant Rights Network. I'm still volunteering. Today I took the day off to be here with Ernest and do that type of community outreach too. But I'm really glad to be here today. So part of my work at MRN was really around writing guidance around everyday's life, about accessing education, accessing, housing, work, and develop that within guidance and deliver those workshops within the community. So I'm not going to do that today on specific subject, but I'm going to give you an overview. So I'm part of a team. We are a small team, and the majority of our team are migrants, first and second generation. I came here, I was lucky to come from France and be part of the freedom of movement, which I think is something that should be open to everybody. Now it's closed, obviously, Brexit has happened, but freedom of movement allowed me to be treated equally with people locally in terms of accessing work, being treated fairly in the workplace. So even if it didn't really happen, I could still enforce those rights. So yeah, I was a big advocate for extending freedom of movement to everybody, so pretty much no borders, which I think would be a good concept. So yeah, part of our teams, like I said, a small team at MRN. We're here to, so it's a charity that is born out of few migrants back in 2006, and what we do, we don't provide services, like if you go to a frontline services in terms of domestic violence or anything like that, you will have people or are qualified to do specific things to support you. What we do, like I said, is writing guidance, doing advocacy and work alongside migrants to access their rights and justice. And that take many forms. So like I said, in terms of advocacy, the Know Your Right guide. So I think it's important to have a guide like that. It's because the immigration legislation changes constantly. So what we try to do is for you to understand how the legislation affect you. So when we talk about migrants, it's covering everybody regardless of their status. Obviously, you've got different access depending on your status, but in general, it's about understanding the legislation, how it's affecting you, understanding your rights under those legislation, and how you can enforce your right yourself, or if you can't and you need support, to signpost you to the best service providers for support through whatever you're trying to access. So here is a leaflet, so that's a leaflet, it's just a picture of the leaflet we provide, and we work with a lot of organizations like JCWI, Liberty, the Unity Project, Doctors of the World, so some of the section. So that's all the section in our Know Your Right guide, so around accessing banking, and if you refuse to open a bank account, around your digital rights as a person, how people withhold your information and how it's shared, and sometimes it's wrongly, allocated. There's mistake, and then that might be a bit tricky for you when you apply for, citizenship or indefinite leave to remain. We've got a section on driving because it's particularly relevant for people that are refugee or asylum seekers that can access the shortage occupation list, and drivers recently were on that. Because there were a lack of drivers, but having a driving license is so complicated, and to kind of from the country you're from to here in terms of harmonization, but even accessing that services, now you can only contact those people by email, which is quite difficult. Education, but Ernest's going to cover that. My background, I worked 15 years as a trade union organizer in the outsourced sector. So in terms of employment, I will cover that after. So aid, crime, health, housing, and last year I worked with mine and the Hong Kongers community to develop a self-help guide and as well a guidance on how to access all the different services for mental health, which is quite limited, but there's a lot of organizations like WIT that provide, you know, that kind of peer-to-peer support and listening, which is really important for people in the community, and no recourse to public funds. So in terms of employment, as you know, like when you're a refugee, you can access work, any type of work, you're not restricted. Something around the national insurance number. So at the moment, people can still apply for a biometric residence permit, but by the end of 2024, I don't know if a lot of you are aware of that, there's going to be a complete digitalization of the immigration status. So people will not have physical documents to be able to prove their rights and access to work, rent, and at the moment, if you have one, you will see that it expires at the end of 2024. But it's still valid, you know, your status is just like what's going to happen is like your status is going to become just completely digital. The issue with digitalization is, and we see that a lot, is employers don't keep at pace with like the change of legislation as well. And a lot of people contacted us saying, I've been dismissed because I've been told I don't have the right to work, when actually it's because the employer needs to do a different type of check, which is digital, and sometimes because they find it complex or they're too worried about the implication of giving, you know, work to someone where they're not sure how to do it, they refuse to give access to it. But so it's really important that the legislation is understood in both ways. So that's something we provide as well, is workshop for employers, but as well for individuals on how to share, you know, create a code and share that with an employer or prospective employer. So it's quite important to understand all of that. And that's why we created a Challenge the Check campaign. So we believe that the government is pushing public service workers, employers, the bank, the landlords to actually become immigration enforcement officer, which is not right. And most of the time we believe that those checks for right to work are unnecessary and discriminatory. So we've called a campaign to literally abolish it. And we created a survey for those that are affected, because we know even people that come through visa, so we work with a lot of people in the care sector that come from Zimbabwe, from everywhere, to be care worker in this country, and we know that they're experiencing a lot of issues in terms of renewing the visa, because of time, you know, obviously there's backlogs, not only for asylum seekers, but as well for people that come through visas as well. It's long. So here is a survey. Like I said, it can be all shared after, and then I'm going to pass it on to my colleague.
Before that, though,
yeah.
Can I ask a question about the digitalization?
Yeah.
Refugees don't have that facility for them to process their applications on that. They don't have access to technology. So is it not discriminatory?
Digitalization is discriminatory. You know, like for example, when Brexit happened, and I did a lot of work around the settlement scheme. First, you know, I did a lot of campaign to not having a scheme. We wanted people to be given their rights. It was declaratory, instead of having to apply for the rights you already have. So, you know, I've done a lot of campaigning for that, but it did happen. And we knew that a lot of people don't have access to technology. So we could prove that, because I think in the UK, I think there's 10 million people that are digitally excluded. So we know that, but the government is pushing it, because for them it's another way of being able to control, you know, like through digital means, people's status, where you go, So that's why you're understanding as well. We provide workshop on that, on digital rights, your rights, and if you pass on your details, how it needs to be stored, how you can ask for that data to be erased. All of these things, people need to understand that this is a development. It can be good, like I'm not against technology, but people need to be aware of that, about their rights and what people hold as an information on them and how it's shared across services. And especially because you've got facial recognition as well, and we know like it's biased, and as well we know that it's tested on people that are white, so it doesn't work on people with darker skin color, for example. So you can mismatch, and then you can be allocated the wrong data against you. Yeah, it's not working, and they use algorithm. A lot of decisions sometimes, in terms of your claims or anything like that, will be done with technology without having someone assessing your case. So digitalization can be good, but it could, you need other means. So for a lot of people, having a physical document. So I did a lot of work with older Europeans working in care homes, people that are sectioned, people in prison. How do you do if they don't have access to the technology or they cannot use it, for example? It's quite complex. But yeah, digitalization is something that you should,
So they will change the law?
But it's hard to change the law. I think every organization needs to do that. But there's a campaign, if you're not aware of it, it's Refugee Council that came to about years ago. And it's about lifting the ban to make sure that asylum seekers can work as soon as they come in the country. And then there's research backing that campaign to show the benefits for the individual, the benefits for everybody, that people can actually work.
And not to discriminate between legal asylum and illegal. I saw leaflet there, it's called, there is nobody illegal.
Nobody is illegal, but that's what we're going to talk
We should campaign
about.
to the parliament. Leaflet is leaflet. I read it, but what?
We do.
It doesn't
So
make any difference.
we lobby like the parliament and the women and all the politicians about in the care sector that come from Zimbabwe, from everywhere, to be care worker in this country, and we know that they're experiencing a lot of issues in terms of renewing the visa, because of time, you see there's backlogs, not only for asylum seekers, but as well for people that come through visas as well. It's long.
Don't have that facility for them to process their applications. So they don't have access to technology.
That is useful. So it's constantly reviewed with people that use and need that information. So it's not just me thinking, I think people need that, It's like, it's on request. The mental health was requested by people, and hate crime as well. So people wanted to know information about that, what kind of rights they have.
We're campaigning in the parliament to change the law.
Yeah, that's why we've got a survey. And we want people, because it's an issue that is not really talked about.
Which issue?
About people being dismissed or not offered jobs because you talk about the digitalization.
No.
We've got a campaign here called Challenge the Check.
I'm not talking about digitalization.
About what?
Change the law in the parliament to allow everybody, once they arrive to Britain, they should have permission to work.
Yeah, well,
Not
there's a
wait
lot of
1 year.
campaigns that we joined. So Leave the Ban is a campaign that's been done by the Refugee Council. Yeah, Refugee
Because once
Council.
they arrive, they cannot work.
No, there's already a lot of campaigns, so we endorse
So they will
it.
change the law?
But it's hard to change the law. I think every organization needs to do that. But there's a campaign. We lobby like the parliament and the women and all the politicians about the language they use when they talk about legal people, economic migrants. We don't want that language. It's
I listen to
divisive.
radio and I never heard your voice in the radio. They talk always illegal migrants. I never heard somebody came on the radio and said, no, there is no illegal migrants. I listened many years, 100 years I listened to LBC and Radio 4 and Radio 5. You never went to the radio?
Our organization does it. So Fiza is always she's always on the news, and believe me, she talks about all these narratives, and at the moment she's been talking about the boat, she's talking about how people, depending on which war zone they're coming from, they treat it differently. Everything. We do something called, what was a launch of all the events, Who's Welcome?
Yeah.
And we did one around Islamophobia. We did a lot of things, and yeah, for us, language is so important.
Do you have these things on podcasts? Can you access
Yeah,
them?
if you go on our website, you can see probably some of the interview, or if you go on Facebook or Twitter, you can see, you type Fiza Crochet, and then you can see all the kind of things she's done on Al Jazeera, like all the different, BBC, ITV News, and we talk about all of that, institutional racism constantly. But yeah, language, Erna's gonna introduce us to the workshop. So I'm gonna probably answer a question later, but I'm gonna, because I want it to be quick and concise to let other organizations speak about that. So Ernest wanted to talk about
Yeah, so thank you so much for having us. I've seen that we do cover the education sector, which is really good, but still more, just share briefly what the Know Your Rights Guide, what we have for this education section. So we have what we call Article 26. I think most of you know what it is. Article 26 is basically says that everybody has access to education, which is really important for migrantized communities like asylum seekers and refugees. When they come to the UK, they can access school, okay? But it is not as simple as it may seem to get into university, but it's possible. From the statistics that we have shown and from other people that we have mentored that have gone into university. So our guide here just explains, elaborates more details on how step by step you can get into higher education. So it is important really to have this opportunity, more especially for the marginalized communities, to be recognized in the education sector, more especially as asylum seekers, I've said. So I'll just share about a bit on the some of the conditions that you need to have when you are, trying to get into university. One of which is English test, and you have said, like from the Chilean communities, they already underwent to education in English, but then when they come to the UK, you need a requirement in English. One of them is IELTS, International English Language Test, which is you have to pay I think £195 at the moment for you to sit for the exams, which is a bit expensive. But then a lot of universities, they are offering scholarships and grants that you might surpass that and go ahead to the university, but you do like a 2 months period program just for the English test, and then from there, that's when you start your program. So I'll share with you a couple of websites where you can find scholarships and grants. We have what we call the Star Refugee Network, That's where you can find all the scholarships, all the materials whenever you want to go to university. So the process of going to the university, there is a bit of stiff competition, but it is possible, okay? Tell your young ones, your friends, wherever community you are representing, that it is possible to get into university. And we have seen it happening, and I'm a witness for that as well. So whenever you are searching for the scholarships, it's best to really understand what are the requirements. If you meet the requirements of that school or that particular course that you have selected. So from there, that's where you go deeper into it, because there are some other scholarships that do offer just a fee waiver, okay, but do not offer a maintenance fee or even grant you accommodation. So from there, you can access some of these loans and grants that are not being offered by the university, but other independent entities that are offering the grants. Okay, so it's important to start the process as early as possible. All right, I've done it before, and it happened that I got offers, but then the time I got offers, the grants for scholarships were being closed. So it's not something that you can just do, apply for, let's say in February, you expect to start in September. With a period of time, it's not possible. So it takes about a year or so. And also just to highlight more, when you say doctor on volunteership works, stuff like that, they do play a major role whenever you are applying for university. So some of the things that you need is a personal statement, which is really highlighting some of the things, what you have done, and your passion for the course that you're applying for. So briefly, this is all I can say. You can apply through UCAS if you are going straight into undergraduate, but if you're going for postgraduate studies, you can apply directly to the university. Yeah, so moving on to the Words Matter campaign, I think most of you have seen our leaflets over there. There's a saying that says, stones and sticks may break my bones, but words cannot. How do you feel about that statement? That stones and sticks may break your bones, but not words. Is that true?
Say it again, please.
Okay. Stones and sticks may break your bones. Let's say me, I hit you. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to correct you, but
Yeah.
the actual saying is sticks and stones may break my bones.
Oh, sticks and stones. So it's
Sticks
just
and stones,
Sticks
you
and
see it sort of runs.
so it's just a matter of
It's the other way. Sticks
Okay,
and
so
stones may break my bones.
Yeah.
Words.
Depends.
yeah. Yeah, so sticks and stones may break my bones, but words cannot. As me,
It shows self-confidence,
Yeah.
strong self-esteem. Nobody can take away anything from you.
yes, of course, but then still more, I feel like I've been in a situation whereby I don't do well with confrontations, okay? But someone says certain words to me, and then when I go back and sit back and start reflecting whatever someone has said, I feel hurt, okay? So that's what this expression is really just saying, that words are harmful. Words do really have an impact, okay? Even though we're saying that, yes, in literal sense, stick, when someone beats you, they can break your bones, but also words are very sharp and they can really harm you. So we have a campaign at Migrants' Rights Network. We call it Words Matter campaign, which is a very brilliant project that I really like as well to participate in, because now over the years the issue of migration has been greatly being politicized. Okay, starting with the media, political parties, and even the government, that pushing a negative narrative using, different various words, just as we say illegal. At Migrants' Rights Network, we don't use words like illegal, because nobody is illegal. There are words like invasion, and I'm sure you have heard of these kind of words in the social media. Invasion. How do you feel when someone says we have like invasion, we have an influx of migration? How do you feel about it?
I feel bad about it.
Yeah?
Hurt.
Exactly. We have words like integration. Yeah? You have to integrate into the host community. Alright? So the way I understand the word integration means, let's say you are coming from a Muslim community or you are from a certain culture. So for you to integrate, it means that you have to sacrifice a part of you so that you have to have the right to be yourself, to practice your culture. If you're a Muslim, practice you being a Muslim, because there's a lot of Islamophobia in this country. Okay?
But I have a different meaning for integration.
Come on, let's go. Yes.
I think positively, actually.
Yeah.
I hate assimilation. But
Assimilation.
integration is a two-way traffic.
Mm.
You share something, take back something. For example, in our case, in Tigray community, we have a lot to share. History, culture, tradition, language. That's something you have to give. In order to get something, we need employment, we need education, we need all sorts of services.
Check now with Mona.
And then everybody becomes a winner.
That's true.
So that's,
I think maybe you are referring to like in form of cultural exchange, stuff like that,
Okay, yes.
which is a two-way thing, which is good. But then pushing that narrative much more, for you to be welcome here, you have to act in a certain way. Okay, that's the integration that we are trying to have.
It's conditional.
It's like conditional.
Yeah, conditional integration. I'm French. My grandparents were Polish, but they didn't taught the children Polish. So no one. My dad can't speak Polish. My granddad could a little bit, but because there were a strong incentive of assimilation where people felt ashamed, but they wanted the children to be French by not speaking another language, so they lost a bit of their culture. So it's conditional, so assimilation, integration. I think I like words better like inclusion. It's much better to use that type. So that's what we try to talk about language that is not harmful. Integration means it's conditional. They tolerate, like all tolerance, for example. It's like, yeah, they don't really like you, but they tolerate you, This language are not really great in terms of talking about people in general.
Yeah.
It's different from where it comes from.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's true. So this campaign, we do have a workshop strictly for this, which may take about the whole day. Last week, our colleagues were in Germany to deliver this training on Words Matter. So we're trying to push that out, that narrative when it comes to social media, the media itself, when they're addressing asylum seekers and refugees, which is very a harmful narrative. So it's one of the projects that we are doing at the moment. These are some of the publications that we have. And if you can go on our website, you can download the whole Know Your Rights guide, as well as the Words Matter campaign. It's a very comprehensive and fully detailed guide. So that was the presentation for us.
Last question, sure.
Yes.
Is about the verification of qualification.
Yes.
People will come and their master's degree,
Yeah.
BA degree, some from the graduate.
Yes.
When they come here, they don't take it fully.
That's the thing.
To convert it to diploma, anything.
Yes, that's the thing, which is very important. For someone, let's say, who has like a master's, who has reached a master's level, and then when they come to the UK, they're told that your qualifications are not meeting the UK standard, which is very gutting. So whenever it comes to that stage, you have to inquire to the university. So, okay, you're saying that I don't reach the qualifications that you are saying. What can I do at the moment to reach that stage? And the best way to do that is not to inquire through the admissions office, but finding rather an email address of the lecturer of that particular course that you are trying to apply. So through him, that's the way they can, guide you through whatever you have to do. Most of the people, they have to go back to college for about a year just to upgrade, and then after that, you apply again for school. So it's a matter of I've had a couple of people complain about the same thing. You have reached the master's level, and then here they're like, oh, your qualifications are diploma level, which is you have spent years studying. They haven't really fully vetted you, assessed you, what your capabilities are, to compete that level. But then it's more segregated. There is, I can say from a personal perspective, my friend, I'm from Malawi actually, Southeast Africa. One of my colleagues back home in school, okay, the same course, she's
working hard, I've been involved in doing my campaign, doing my work. What happened? I'm here in this position. I'm a community support officer. 3 kids in school who came with no English. No English. My oldest daughter is 19 now. She's at the University of Bath. The first one of the first 3 universities in the country, study economics and international development.
Right.
So we need to persist.
Yes.
Start as a volunteer, make those connections, network. You need to invest yourself.
That's
You
good.
need to give free hours to other communities. You need to invest. Go on YouTube 1 hour per day, no more than that. Try to learn a language, try to listen. Other stakeholders, what do they do? This is how I do every single day, even today. I keep learning English. I keep going to even today I went to collect my certificates. How to understand how it is, how to become a teaching support learning in schools. You never stop. But the thing is, you need to love to achieve your goals. Otherwise, if you lay back, you will stay on the same. So I would like just to share how important it is to start as a volunteer. And then everything will be done.
That's
Isn't
brilliant.
it?
I mean, that's a way of encouragement to everybody, isn't it? It's never too late to start again. It's never too late to start again.
Restart all
So
over.
just to emphasize on that, just to reflect and echo whatever you say, other people, whenever they're coming to the UK, they have their qualifications and they're like, I have to start all over again. So you can start all over again. And it doesn't really hurt.
Yep.
Yeah. So we will send out flyers and a feedback form just to get from you what type of rights that you want to know more about, and if there's anything at all, whether you want to volunteer with us and engage with Migrants Trust Network. We are so pleased to have you. We are so pleased to have your words. One last thing, just a word of encouragement to all of you guys. Life is unfair, okay? Life is unfair. No matter what life throws your way, no matter how unfair it may seem, refuse to play the victim, all right? Refuse to play the victim. Refuse to be ruled by fear and negativity. Refuse to quit, okay? Be a warrior and work through whatever life throws your way with courage, with love, and with positivity. Whatever it may take, keep on going forward. So because you're warriors and survivors of the unfairness of the world and life itself, you're stronger than you think, you're more resilient than you think. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Listen to Eddie, please. لأن ما تمشي على كذا غطي بعدين أنا بقعد يا أحسن ما تودي كذا بسجع السودان كيف كذا
the UK, which means especially if it's about their asylum case, we support them with their asylum case. We support them being able to access healthcare or mental health services or many other things. I think it's more than just focusing on what they need in terms of services. It's also about the individual person, what the individual person's needs are, speaking to that person and understanding that they are not just, a number, not just someone that, not just someone that is like in the system, but is a person, is a human that needs, to be regarded as a person. So, yeah. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think you covered everything on this. But as she mentioned, to add to that, we provide a holistic support for the individual. We don't have a list of, okay, we'll only do this and this. We see what we're capable of doing, to what extent we can intervene to help, and we'll do that. And also we connect people to different resources and signposts with different organizations in order to get the best out of the service. We have an all the charity sector or government department that has for these individuals. So yeah, as you mentioned as well, we do work in a setup where we're trying to emphasize the person is not only an asylum seeker in the UK or a refugee in the UK. They are people their humanness, their individualism, their character, the lives. We want to emphasize that. We want people to be able to look to themselves and have a meaningful life regardless what the process is. We can agree all the asylum process in the UK is really not very welcoming and in some part not welcoming at all for certain people. So we would like people to feel included, to feel welcome, to feel they are valid, and whatever meaningful life means to them, we try to help them facilitate that by all means at the Organization of Refugees. We, as Shahad also mentioned, we do work with Sudanese asylum seekers and refugees, and also Sudanese who are in the UK regardless of their immigration statuses. But that's what the organization is designed for, but also we do extend our help to any other organization that work with other communities in terms of like having to facilitate certain services or information or delivering certain needs for them.
Also helping them understand Sudanese needs as well, because obviously if you're in a in a borough like Brent or any other kind of community, if there are Sudanese people inside, there's cultural differences, there's understanding that maybe we can support with as well. Also in terms of research as well. So we research a lot about what's happening in Sudan and what's happening to people in England that are Sudanese as well. So yeah, you can, of course.
Yes.
3 o'clock.
I'll just finish this. I was saying, in terms of the work, I was saying that a lot of research in terms of what Sudanese people need and what's happening in Sudan right now and things like that to support people, whether it's in an asylum case or whether it's to be understood or whether it's to support in whatever they need. I think you said statistics about everything.
And as Shahid mentioned as well, we do extensive research and advocacy as well in terms of like policy advising for the immigration system or for the government in general regarding what's going on in Sudan, the war, the conflicts, and previous advocacy for Darfur as well, and currently the unfortunate situation that's going on. So we raise awareness wherever we go, and also the events and the unfortunate tragedy happening in Al Junaina in West Sudan. Currently it's a genocidal act. So yeah, we do raise these issues with government officials, with community members also. We allow people the space to talk about it and to get together sometime in certain events to heal, to grieve, to feel the togetherness basically, to feel they are part of a community, to feel they are supported, they are heard, they are listened. So we literally serve by compassion and empathy. We try.
And not to discriminate as well. Everyone in Sudan. We don't just mean specific places for everyone. Also, if you do know someone that you think would benefit from our support, or if you want to learn more about us, on our website, Refugee, you can contact us and or you can take our numbers and call us and let us know if there is anyone that you know that might
ما عايزة أتكلم بالإنجليزي لأنه اتكلمت عن طبعا السودان وهناك طبعا جيت ثاني فصلت دارفور فدارفور ذاتها كلها في السودان يعني فما تحاولوا تفصلوا تقولوا هناك دارفور برا والسودان برا هي طبعا منطقة واحدة ممكن تكون confused
So just to include everyone as well, she was raising a point that we mentioned Darfur as a region of Sudan. We particularly mentioned that because there is a genocidal act happening there. It's not to divide the community or isolate it or exclude it, but to highlight the importance of us looking at that part of the country as going through very difficult time for the last 30 years.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course, what's happening in Sudan right now is very, it's very sad, and I know that a lot of people here are affected by it. We all are personally as well. And I think the reason why we said Jamaica is, as you said, because what's happening there compared to the other country is like very specific. But in general, when we're thinking about support, we're thinking about research, we're thinking about how to help these people, we're not only thinking about one specific person, it's definitely about everyone. And yeah, the main thing is, at the end of the day, we're all going through it, right? So we all need to come together and we all need to support each other and feel that, that's back. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
I believe that both of you are from Sudan.
Yeah.
And just a little background about yourselves. Plus, when was Waging Peace established? Is it before the war or following the war?
So Waging Peace is an organization based in the UK. We joined the organization 2 months ago actually. We're very new joiners to the organization, coming from different backgrounds. I do work in advocacy and institution building and democracy as well, in terms of like, kind of like not policy advising, but also advocacy in terms of human rights in general. Focusing on migrants and also human rights issues in Africa and the Middle East mainly. That's my background. Waging Peace as an organization established in 2004 here in the UK due to the atrocities that happened in Darfur in 2003. There was a lot of vocal voices about Sudan in general and a lot of conflict zone, but there was no highlighting the fact that Darfur is being under like ethnic cleansing and genocides. So there was like, the organization was very vocal, they were very involved, and they were advocating for these people and getting media attention, getting the world to see what's going on there. So that's the background, the history of the organization. The organization was founded by a UK journalist. Vicky, if you go to the website, you will find her as a founder and also one of the trustees. She witnessed everything happening in Sudan in person, and she didn't see the world active about it. She didn't see anything out in the media. That's why she put that in the front and planned this organization and get people together. The organization is very small, but we tend to create spaces. We don't we don't take the place as, okay, we're gonna help you, we facilitate the space, we open the space so you can come together and also be able to help yourself and empower people to do that.
If anyone has, like the women's group, for example.
Yes.
It's mainly someone came and wanted to do this, wanted to make a women's group, wanted to make that space for Sudanese women. And it's not for us to tell you what to do or how to do it or whatever, but we're going to help support you in that. So in terms of finding a venue, in terms of any resources you need, we can support you with that. But obviously we know that a lot of the Sudanese problems come with Sudanese solutions, and the most important thing is giving the voice to the person that is affected and feels like they want to do something. They should do it, and we will empower you and help you, but we're not gonna take over and tell you what to do, kind of thing. So it's really good that someone is there to, we're just here to facilitate, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to ask if the organization have any ability or have power just to help people in Sudan more. For example, Darfur problem is since 2002, and now it's creating Khartoum, and people are dying. This is like genocide. What all this organization in the UK can do to support people and to stop what happened in Sudan? And also the genocide in Darfur start end of 70s, not just now. And the whole world, they're watching and nothing being done. We are here, we are in England, and we are in countries that we think we have human rights here. What can we do, to solve problems without problem?
So from that's really valid question, and we as Sudanese as well, I'm Sudanese, we ask these questions every day to any platform we have, even to our organization. We like to hold people accountable in the sector in generally. However, not to justify we're doing great things, we're trying to do our best, but also we do give the space to Sudanese people who are actually from Darfur to speak about this to the parliament, to politicians, and raise advocacy and awareness. The minimal we do, we know that government are not actively active, we all know that. And they do minimal interactions with people or know the stories. Usually they try to take the shorter explanation, the easy explanation for them to facilitate any interactions with these communities or intervention with this country politics. But we, for example, in few days we have a meeting with government officials, part of the organization, they are doing advocacy. Our team will be visiting the Human Rights Council hearing in Geneva, and there is a lot of vocal voices. And we open the platforms. We have spoken to UN security advisors on what's going on, and that's not the organization speaking, but also we get the people to speak.
Yeah,
so,
Sudanese people,
exactly.
actually people that are affected, to
Yes.
speak and to have that voice. We can facilitate that. So wherever there is a space for someone to talk, I think it's important to have the voice that is actually has the most stake in it, that cares the most, that understands the most. Does that make sense?
From my point of view, we need to do more, and we have to find out the way that to stop this in Sudan. For example, Rwanda, it's happened but it's stopped, but we have to find how they help Rwanda, not Sudan. Now it's almost 40 years, this is genocide going on in Sudan, but people just talking, and nothing happened, nothing done. People died, innocent people died every day. So we need to take serious action.
I agree, yes.
All of us together,
Right.
as organization. And we want to see later on, Councillor Julian want to speak. We want to see how can we contact our councillors, contact our MPs. We have to do something.
Yes, certainly, and we also help people learn or basically empower them to contact their MPs through if any of the people we are in touch with or supporting, we do let them know how to contact them in terms of training or facilitation of contact methods, and also ease and help with writing letters on your words. Basically, you tell us what you want to say. If there is any language barrier or no access to internet, or people don't know how to use emails, for example, we do help facilitate that. So I personally we both agree that we like to voice people's voices. We would like to reflect people's voices. We're not coming as we want to promote the organization or what we do as an organization. My ethics of work, and I think Shad would agree that we want people to speak. Like you speaking, you have a point, you want to meet the MP, we can facilitate that for you. We can basically let you know how to do things and empower you to do it and give you the platform to do it.
Yeah, but I don't mean that I have to do it individually, we have to do it
Absolutely,
in
collective,
yeah.
yes, totally.
Yeah.
If you work together, it's make more results than anybody.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I just share something about
Sure.
the movement from the Sudanese Community and Information Center in London?
Yes.
We already made the move to get in touch with professionals. And what I would suggest for all of us to do, and that will be good help to be heard, we need stories. Especially when we had the evacuation, people, they were evacuees, they are here. There are like about 10 questions. One of our Sudanese worker in RBKC, she wanted actually, because her mom was evacuated the same way. The way the English people dealt with things, we are not too happy at all. And I spoke in many platforms. I was just coming from another meeting in RBKC to reflect on that. So we are trying to collaborate our work with RBKC, which our community is registered there as a charity. And Hamad Mr. Fulan, we have a Sudanese guy who works there. He already linked us with some of the council there. Westminster is the biggest council where the Sudanese is located. So we are trying to gather all this information together and just support as you do it. And from my understanding and my work with Wagan Peace, they work with Darfur issues before, and now they are supporting us, and we have some of our professional people like lawyers, counselors. They are even doing all this kind of one-to-one support as well. So, I mean, all of us, if we become one voice, as Mona mentioned, something will be done.
Okay.
And you know, we know the English system. We all live here and we know how things work. It doesn't have to be like I tell you, you tell me. We need evidence.
Yes.
So if we write a story, I encourage you, if you know anybody who comes as an evacuee to London, to England, to write their story. All the steps, how they've been treated. Like one of the issues we hear, people couldn't even get in touch with the embassy there to try to do something. They never provide any contact so people can get in touch and ask them. They only had three flights, and from in Sudan, they weren't providing like good support for people they can reach to these places. Never mind all this. Even to evacuate Sudanese British, we had to put pressure on the government here to allow people to come to this country as British. We're dealing with people, we want to go further and to have something to enable us as British citizens to do something about our family back home. If we need to help them to come out of the country, because the war is still going on and we don't know where it's going to end. We don't have a status in this country. Like how they dealt with Ukraine, for example. We're not comparing ourselves, but we have the right as human to have just the basic things as human beings. And we have people who really run this country. We have, you take example, these young people, our people, my children, your children, they are having positive input in this society. So why can't we have the right to have just the basic things as humanitarian thing for our people as well? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a quick point.
Sure.
Please, can you request from British TV and radio to cover these wars, at least very briefly?
Yes.
Of course, they will not put 1 hour like Ukraine.
Absolutely.
Even 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I never heard about Eritrea war. I know about Sudan war, but I didn't know about Eritrea war.
Yeah.
BBC and ITV, they should, you can campaign. And British radio, LBC, Radio 4, Radio 5. Just 1 second.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much for raising that.
Like the Eritrea war, the Tigray war. Eritreans waging against Tigray. It's called the Tigray war.
Tigray war.
Yeah, thank you everyone for these valid points, and I think we move on.
I just want to raise a concern. I mean, as I can observe that there are different platforms. I mean, like the community and your organization. But I see that there is a gap in coordinating these different platforms and reaching to the different refugees and asylum seekers in different spots of the country. Like, I don't know, a group of Sudanese people in my hotel, in a spot around Gatwick, they don't have a clue about all these platforms.
Yes.
So, I mean, there are different of Sudanese individuals with different potential stories who could at least have some input for this aid. So I mean, creating an access and a sort of coordination to reach out to those people might help you, I guess.
Yeah, certainly.
So, do you have any prospect in doing so? I mean, such workshop could have helped a lot. I mean, could have gathered a lot of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right, and I agree. There is lack of coordination or communication, probably, within the sector. How many of us here are refugee or asylum seeker?
Everybody.
All of us.
Okay, great. I don't see a lot of young refugees and asylum seekers, as we call them, newcomers. As this event is in the Refugee Week, I was expecting a number of people who are young and need these spaces to be welcomed in.
Which is the reason why we
exactly.
come today and speak to them. So.
Exactly. You're coming from WEET, our colleagues as well coming from another organization, from the council. So we are here together. However, we are here because we're here to support and welcome asylum seekers and refugees. And they are not here. So that's where I feel there is a gap, where we don't really see exactly what they want as what exactly they want. We see it from our perspective, and that's a general thing. Yeah. And I totally agree with your point where they should be invited, they should be in these places, they should be there asking us the questions, not us asking ourselves or questioning ourselves.
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
What can we do to maximize your message, to make sure that every person who is entitled gets the information out there and spreads the word around? What can we do?
I think it just needs a space that's welcoming. I'm sorry that I'm taking so much space, I'm talking a lot. A space that's welcoming, a space that's open. I have experienced myself as a refugee in this country where there's a lot of events, workshops, spaces that are facilitated or open to refugees, but then when you walk in, you don't feel that welcome. You don't feel this is space where you belong to. You don't feel included. So addressing this from a perspective of the refugee person.
I was just about to say that I think the approach is the person themselves. You have to think about what that person needs, right? And the only way you can understand that is by actually engaging with that person, not just, holistic, in general, kind of thinking we need this, we need that, but actually, what do you need? Does that make sense? And if you can understand that, then you can kind of create, as you said, events where someone would feel comfortable. And I would say like what you're doing right now is amazing, bringing people together. And then after that is also speak while they're there, asking what is your main concern? What can we facilitate the most? Does that mean? And I think with Waging Peace, it is mainly about you as a person. So we are gonna, I want to get to know you. I want to understand, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. If you're thinking about it individually as a person, everyone is different. You can't put one. I mean, Sudan is big. Sudan is so many different people, different cultures, different languages, and you can't just put everyone in one understanding. You have to kind of understand each person, and that takes time and that takes effort, but it's what's needed. Yeah.
But just like be brave enough to actually ask the question, what do you need?
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yes. Following up with the gentleman's idea of engaging the media, the mainstream media are not very keen to cover about Africa, of course. But we have to push still against that attitude. But social media, we haven't used it enough. The Facebook and WhatsApp messages and so on. We have to engage our young people because they are nearer to the social media. We have, for example, we should broadcast this event to all the young people. If they see images of the Sudanese case happening, they will be aware with all the invitations for other meetings and so on. So effective utilization of the social media is very important.
Also agree. Thank you so much for having that one.
Yeah, thank you.
I like to share my experience with my mom because she's a refugee. The mistake that we made, for example, my mom, she applied as a refugee. The mistake that I made, for example, she hasn't applied for any course to learn English until now. So that's one of the mistakes. So the refugee, for example, they haven't come today. As you know, we are all Sudanese, so we don't speak in Arabic, for example. Many people, they might not speak, understand most of the words. So that's one of the mistakes. If they come today, they might get embarrassed. So and you keep speaking about Darfur. Darfur is the one state in Sudan. So we are all Sudanese. I think we can't invite all the refugees through the social media, for example, because they are keen to do that, or where they are. For example, they keen to kick them off, or in the hostels or these places. Not just Sudanese, all the refugees, they need support. For example, the first thing is the language, because whenever you go to any place, you have to know their language and their culture. For example, wherever they go, and the first thing in English, you have to say thank you or sorry. So they don't know these small things, which they make them embarrassed, and they don't want to go anywhere, and they have to be antisocial. So they have to learn these things. Now I have to go with my mom, which make lots of board on my shoulder. So I have to go with her everywhere. So this hospital, all appointments, everything. This I feel sorry, for example, for this hospital, so to bring any interpreter or anything for her. So instead of that, I prefer to go myself, not to let her to go by herself, because they don't know the transportation, they don't know many things. So whenever other thing as well, the GPs. So if you advertise through the GPs, is much better as well, because they know everything about that. So if you go to the GPs and they say keep pain, they won't know. So the most important thing from my perspective is the language. What they are age, so we can help them. If they are young, so which category, so they can improve and they can go through their path on this and on their life, and how they can help their family. Because most people, young people, when they come to this country, they want to help their families back home. But when they come for on the age, they come from itself to help themselves. So we have to think positive, or think a lot about this refugee as it does, not as it is Sudanese, not to be racist. That's from my point of view. yeah, and like invest on them. So like we save for this country a lot. We know there's like lots of information and lots of things. So we save like for the job centers and these things. And thank you. I know I'm so talkative, but like thank you for giving this chance. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, Selma, can I just share something quickly with her in regard to what she was saying? Actually,
we're running out of
Yes,
time, so
exactly.
we have 2 speakers left.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Sorry.
I'll talk to you with somebody.
You can talk better. But the reason why we spoke in English because we don't know what nationalities are here. We have to speak to the language that's mostly commonly spoken in the platform. That's the only reason. It's not that I'm so happy speaking English, no. But basically just to be fair and inclusive in terms of like who speaks and not.
But also, yeah, if you want to speak to us in Arabic or
Yeah,
understand us,
absolutely.
we're more than happy
We're available.
to come and speak. Yeah, for sure.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but for example, my mom here, she doesn't understand anything of what we say.
We're happy to
We're
talk
happy
to her.
to come and talk,
Yeah.
honestly.
Absolutely.
We're so happy to come, yeah. We would love that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Really, thank you for your questions and thank you, Muna, and the ladies over there who made an amazing fishery as well.
Yes, thank you,
Minister. And I'm here because obviously I know Magda very well and how we should help people in this situation as regards what's happening in Sudan. So I'm just going to briefly outline our advice that we've been given. So obviously we know that there's war in Sudan. There's an estimate of the population, of the Sudanese population in the UK at being 24,000, but community sources think that it's about double, it's more than twice that, so more like 48 to 50,000. Obviously many are British citizens, but of Sudanese origin. The government has offered evacuation flights for the estimated 4,000 UK citizens in Sudan. 2,000 of them registered for those flights, but no more were currently planned at the time of the briefing. And they were only available to the British citizens and their families. So, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Plus parents caring for British children. And the last flight, I think, was opened up to Sudanese NHS doctors at the last minute, as there are many Sudanese working for the NHS. As we know, the first 2 doctors to die from COVID were Sudanese in the UK.
Yes.
So, what is planned on, we're planning on the basis that 800,000 people may flee from Sudan to neighbouring countries, not necessarily the UK, but to neighbouring countries. Hundreds have already been killed, and obviously getting a flight is difficult and dangerous. Those who are able to leave and who have connections within the UK are likely to try to make their way here. Sorry, that's killing me. As has already happened in most years. There are about 2,000 asylum applications from Sudanese nationals at the moment. The government has indicated that it may organise further flights, and there is growing pressure for those to include a wider selection of family members, not just the immediate British UK citizens. So more evacuees may arrive, but I'm not sure what's actually happening at this moment. But it's possible that more evacuations may take place. So Sudanese people in the UK, most areas have an established Sudanese community, but I think Westminster is the biggest Sudanese community in the country. Obviously, Bradford, Leeds, Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle, and the North East. Scotland and Wales as well. Obviously, we know that Sudanese community groups are very well organised, and ranging from small local meetings to national associations with professionals, etc., doctors, lawyers, and so forth. Many Sudanese are stuck in temporary accommodation and in hotels, those amongst the asylum seekers. So the problems are, so obviously Sudanese people here are concerned about their families in Sudan. Why wouldn't they be? Obviously they'd be concerned. And the evacuation has been chaotic. And many people do not qualify with the criteria that was set out, or could not get on the planes. We know that there's, I've heard myself about what do they call them? The people who, okay, when there was a ceasefire, then people were still shooting, what's that called?
Yeah, they breached ceasefire.
Yeah, so regardless of what they were reporting on the news about ceasefires, people were still unable to get, many people were unable to get to the flights.
Yeah.
And this has been the problem for many people. And obviously visas, passports, etc., that was another problem. Uncertainty for asylum seekers and others on limited leave in the UK. Although Sudanese are not amongst the 12,000 asylum seekers who have been sent a questionnaire with a view to clearing the asylum backlog, because there's a process going on at the moment to clear the asylum backlog, and Sudanese people have not been included in that. There are still several thousand Sudanese in the asylum system waiting and needing a decision. Most of them are likely to be a positive outcome, 84% of them. Others are in the UK students on work permits or visiting. They obviously cannot go home if they're on those temporary permits. But meanwhile, they're in a huge uncertainty and also probably unable to work on most visas. They're unable to work, and so they're going to face destitution if they can't have any income. Also, we have the problem of arrival of traumatized and vulnerable people. People who arrive here after seeing what they've witnessed and leaving a chaotic and dangerous war situation. And some have been forced to leave their family behind. And some may be injured, and some likely to have trauma and mental health issues resulting from that. There are no proper reception or assessment arrangements in place organised by the government. And councils have been told by the government, this is what they've been told, and this is what I'm quoting. Welcome points at ports of entry are providing some immediate support, so at the point of entry, e.g. the opportunity to rest, welfare or health checks, and advice about onward travel. Onward rail transport from arrival airports will be free to those who do not have funds for travel. In some cases, immediate overnight accommodation is being provided, e.g. where, for example, where a flight has arrived late. So that's what's on offer at the point of entry. In order to manage the pressures at points of entry, they're encouraging people to move on very quickly, not to stay there, but to move on. And where people do not have accommodation arrangements, they're being encouraged to travel to where they have existing family connections or friends in the UK and seek to make arrangements with family and friends where possible. Where not possible, councils may start to receive homelessness applications and other requests for assistance from households returning from Sudan. So that's over to the councils now. So, and difficulties with accessing services. So those dealing with physical and psychological trauma will obviously need specialist help, and health services are not geared up for this. We're not actually prepared for this kind of situation. So while most local authorities now have specialist teams helping Syrians, Afghanis, and Ukrainians funded specifically for that by central government, this is a new group with different needs and also different statuses. And they haven't been funded in the same way, as we know. Yeah. So some benefits and housing services are only available to those who are eligible, and British citizens and some others must pass or be exempted from the habitual residence test to access them. So I don't know if you understand the habitual residence. So if you've been out of the country, even if you're a British citizen and you've been out of the country for some time, you don't automatically have access to the services, to benefits or anything, or help like that. So you have to be here for a while. So they may waive that. We're hoping that the government will waive that. Unlike some previous evacuations of British citizens, the government have not exempted them from this test yet. But we hope that they will do as soon as possible. So what can councils do? We need to, obviously, as councillors, we need to interact with local Sudanese community groups
and obviously you're open to contact me and other councillors. You know, you can contact the Westminster Council and ask for your local councillor. Some will be more interested than others, I'll just say that. Local groups who may know of new arrivals who need services, so you can obviously refer them to your local, to the council or to the councillors. And also obviously people like NAGLA and other people that do a lot in the community can give information and so forth and refer you where needed. I don't think the council has expert knowledge in this area. I went with another councillor to the Sudanese embassy to see the acting ambassador, and he didn't have a lot of information. He was suggesting that we go and talk to the British embassy in Khartoum, but he didn't have anything to say himself. He didn't have anything to offer himself. Although the Sudanese organisations are quite well organised, not every Sudanese person is involved in an organisation, and so people need to make the effort to reach out to those who are kind of isolated and don't know what's open to them, and any change in circumstances or anything like that. And obviously if people are suffering trauma, they may not know that they need to go and seek help. They may need to be encouraged to go and get support. I'm just flicking through because there's a bit here. So the thing that the council needs to do is to brief all their frontline staff, because many of the staff will not have a clue about what's going on. It's not on the news, and they won't know what's happening. So that's something that that our local council has said, and I need to see that that's taking place. And I don't know how it's. I haven't seen it in action, but I will inquire as to how that's been handled. I don't know how many Sudanese speaking or Arabic speaking, let's say, people we have working in the council. There must be some. Right. And also the council, from our point of view, the council needs to ensure that there's a proper referral pathway. So sometimes you approach somebody and they say, oh, well, maybe try this or try that. There needs to be a clear pathway that people can access the service that they need, including housing, social services, welfare benefits, cost of living, support, education, health, all the usual stuff. So that is also in place already with the Syrians, Afghanis, Ukrainians, etc. They have all that set up, and it's not been organised in the same way for the Sudanese as yet. But you can contact, as I said, contact your local councillors or the council, and hopefully they'll point you in the right direction on those things. So that mention the habitual residence test again, which is significant. I think those are the main things. The housing rights. Housing is difficult in Westminster anyway, because we have very few council properties and many people are housed in temporary accommodation outside the borough. Again, Ukrainians have different access to housing for some reason, and Sudanese don't. So, but the thing is to go through the system, go through the pathway, and then and see, let's see what happens. You will not be ignored. Approach the council where you need to, and go through the process and see where that goes. They will not leave you homeless. I think that's basically it. Legal advice. I don't think Sudanese people coming in now they're not eligible for legal aid, so that's a difficulty. That's a difficult thing. So you get advocacy or advice wherever you can. The law centres, local law centres, or for example, I'm a legal advisor, not a lawyer, but a legal advisor. And if someone comes to me and if I don't have that law speciality, then I can refer on, or you'll find Citizens Advice and other organisations like that can, and the organisations that were talking earlier as well. I think that's basically it. Those are the main points. If you want to ask me any questions. I mean, as a council, we're dependent on what the government says, and the government hasn't done too much. And we can only work within our limits, so that's what I'll say.
Thank you very much.
Kensington and Chelsea.
Kensington and Chelsea, where our Sudanese community in London registered as a charity over there.
Yeah.
But we, as you mentioned, most of our people, they are based in Westminster and other councils as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things we've been vocal about is space. We need more spaces like this to be provided so we can run this kind of workshop.
Community space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my role in the Sudanese community, I organize this kind of event. And I know when I know Najla, and we can work together, we need to bring professional, our union as well, because they understand the language, the culture, where people are coming from, especially the one they are really seeking help in their well-being, mental health is a big issue. So we have a list of things. We are trying to work hard with professionals and with our residents as well, especially young people, so we can be heard. I mean, we handed in a few petitions. We start meeting with professionals, counselors like yourself, from like different boroughs, to make sure that the central government are really looking into our status as in the beginning. These are involved in this country with their rights, and also how can we support our people back home.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I mean, you can consider then my side, South Pimlico, is very hard to find community space, but if I would like to bring people such as yourself and Nagla down to my area to speak to the residents there, because obviously I have Sudanese residents, and you know, anything to facilitate the community coming together, and to bringing them into contact with the relevant counsellors or legal advice or you know, medical attention or whatever is needed, you know, community mental health support teams and things like that. So, I mean, I can give you my card at the end, or you can give me your contact details. We can, you know, I'd definitely be interested to help. Yeah, but although not there's no entitlement at the moment in this situation, but free legal advice. We could look for free legal advice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
My name is Hajja Ahmed, Sudanese woman. I'm a journalist and teacher. I have been here near 5 years only, and I have maybe I have two different experiences before. Thank you, Regina, for this invitation to speak about asylum seekers and refugees. I have difficult situations in Sudan because I'm a journalist and teacher. When I'm a journalist, I'm traveling to different places in Sudan, look after refugees and asylum seekers also, for bringing news. The asylum seeker and refugees in Sudan is from Nigeria, from Somalia, from Eritrea, Ethiopia. It's just like that, because Sudan at that times is no war, no anything, except we have Bashir, the bad government in Sudan at that time. Traveling to Darfur to see the camp, and when I returned back, write newspaper, different newspaper about the situations in Darfur and about the suffering situations with refugees in Sudan. From that things they took me and put me in the prison for a long time, and me and my family and my children, even my husband, because he's also a journalist. And after that, they hit me in my back and destroy my emotional, destroy my me, and make problem in my back. But still now I'm strong. Still now at that time, still I'm strong woman, stand and write everything about the government in Sudan, about that bad government, about Bashir and his regime. After that, they hit me in my head. Just not forget that I'm studying my university music and drama, and also study at the same time English literature. But I forget everything. Forget Arabic, forget English, because forget my lost my memory. Me and my elder daughter. After that, after they took my daughter and my daughters and all my children from me, that because they don't want me return to write in the newspaper. After that, thinking to left Sudan to another any country. Want to travel to Eritrea, but they catch me again and put me again inside the prison with my children. And after that, some peoples after Rashwa, after give them money, and they help me to run to Egypt. That in 2017. When I was arrived Egypt, I pray for my Allah. These good things. Now I'm safe, but not safe. This new story in the Egypt, new situations. Because when I was arrived, oh, I'm good now. This good place. Not right, yes. And the United Nations organizations look after me as a journalist, yes. They prepare everything for me, yes. They give me the blue cards immediately, yes. But took my children to make registrations in the school, and ambassador Sudanese, the people in Sudan see this. لي معاوية عبد الرازق عبد الرحمن. Wow, this معاوية عبد الرازق عبد الرحمن, that means حاجة here. From that time, they look after me and see me and come behind me one day with my son and destroy my knee again. They hit me by electric stick in my knee and in my back. And when Ahmed, my son, said, please don't mom, they destroyed their 2 fingers from him. And we ask all the peoples in the street, no speak without anything. They look, this Sudanese together. Okay, this Sudanese like that also. But
this happened on the street?
Yeah, in the street. No one come and can help us now. This is because the Egyptians not come to Sudanese people. This Sudanese, okay. And if you want to police, to say the people said me or something, they said, you are with the United Nations, don't come here, go to United Nations. This speak to United Nations and took me to UNICEF and children, save the children, and United Nations changed the house for me and my children, and from that time my children stay at home without reading, without school. They been like that, they had been like that about 9 months. All these times we had in the Egypt. After that, they come behind us and find us and find us and find us until 21 house in the Egypt. Move from city to another, move from house to another. Lastly, they bring me to UK with my children in a wheelchair and put me in a hospital immediately. And after that, I'm alone with my children. I don't know who's people in the UK. I want someone, I want Sudanese, I want my community. It's come to help me, but I can't find the Sudanese people at that time. After maybe 2 or 3 weeks, find someone in the street and ask him, I want Sudanese community. They said, go to school in Ijwa Road and describe for me the Ijwa Road and come. Very happy with my children. At that time, walk in 2 scratches like this. And when I was arrived, see all the Sudanese peoples, but unfortunately, Sudanese people seated like groups and groups and groups and groups. Yeah. Say hello, no one said hello. Salaam alaikum, no one replied. Please, we are new here. They thinking maybe she knew, yeah, maybe they want, she wants some money, or everyone look like that. From that time, I'm thinking about why the people, or why our own community do these things with their person, with their nationality. Why they do that bad things. And ask the many teachers in school for my children's want. They can't speak English, and they want start English, and they want we want information about the school, how to system in the UK. We ignored everything, but no one helped us about these things. No one came back to Somalian people, Somalian community, and ask them about that. Somalian community is a very good community and helped me to took my children's tuition, and also after that the council, that because the Lambos Council bring us to here. Lambos Council took my children and entered the school, and because they are younger, study quickly. We are still now, we not complete 5 years. Now I have 3 daughters and 1 son. My all 3 daughters want to enter the university in September. All they want to study medicine, alhamdulillah. And my son want to study cybersecurity. Feeling, yes, I'm successful, yes, but why I'm successful? Maybe I'm a strong woman, maybe I have good experience in the life, maybe everything. And also came back to life again after the Sudan. So not forget speaker. I'm speaker is spoken. Okay, formal spoken person from Sudanese Professionals Associations in all the media in the world. And from that time, the Sudanese come and, oh, what's your name? When you arrive here, and oh, you are so and so and so and so. But I'm not feeling good at that time. I'm not feeling bad with anyone. When I'm find Sudanese people at the street, I'm not feeling anything good. This from that times I'm thinking about the refugees and asylum seekers in this country, because this is my own experience. That young people arrived here by boat. Sometimes not like me by plane and find everything is ready. No, the young people, not Sudanese only, the young people as a general find find difficult life in UK. I'm thinking about that things and do hard to register organizations called 4 Wings Global Project as a grantee. This why this I have aim for that. I read the aim and everything. By my son Abdul Rahim speak about the space for refugees. We have that, and why not make a partnership between us to help that people? This look now is 4 Wings Global Project is peace, justice, and freedom. This is our logo. A community space and coffee shop to help refugees and asylum seekers in South London and integrate into their host community. The aim is integration, make integrations between the host community and refugees and asylum seekers from all over the world, not Sudanese community, only because the human rights is the same. And we aim to create a coffee shop, inclusive and convention space, convention space with where people from different background and rise is built social and cultural village. How to do that? For build cultural space. Why cultural space? Because when I'm in Sudan, look the Somalia and Eritrean peoples come and want to speak with me. At that time, give them money, give them anything, but I can't give them the emotionals. I can't speak with them about the situation. This now, this I want to do that. It's about speak about your culture, about your country, traditional customers, and also speak about like make a monthly event, not event only, the educationist event. For speak about all things. This make the host community is what is
Kind.
Yes, kind. The host community is very kind for you, and they see traditions and everything about you, and after that it's easily to make yes. This is my project, and the crowdfunding start on 7 o'clock. If you want help us, write your name and your number, and I will put this name and your number in with the idea into action, and after that they send you the idea into action, send you the bank account to give us. £1 is enough for us. If you want to make more, it's welcome at any time. Thank you. This, thank you. She's very kind. I had us with anything by Arabic language, and maybe if I'm improve my language or the language return back to me again, maybe write by English language to all the new students. Thank you.
interventions and for all your attendance and all for your presentations. And it was a lovely day to have you here. We are pleased. And see you again in another event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.